Okay, so I quickly wanted to go through and show what I did today. So today was basically here, I have this Kanban board. So today I guess I just worked on the kingdom system. And I was starting to work on the foreign nation system because I feel like it's going to be a little bit not complicated, but just I'm gonna have to like hook into the to the faction system and the kingdom system. We could go through this first though. So I created this bakery, or sorry, I messed around with the scriptable object system even more, because I wasn't happy with the way that previously this had like the text of the faction and the value on it, and it just didn't make a lot of sense because if we wanted to make like another override, we would have to make another override and then change the value. And I felt like that was just like too cumbersome. So now whenever you go inside of here, you are just able to open this up and then click on the operation that you want. So it's like tax rate add, tax rate divide, and then you'll have the value here. So we don't have to have like a million of these different operations. We just have the actual base operation, but still not happy with it. Because and here we could add more consequences and we could just drag and drop here or just like select it from this list. I'm still not happy with it because, oh, and I also added an option to actually explicitly hide or show the UI. I'm still not happy with it because um, the text. So let's say that we have like a multiply and we're multiplying by 3, right? We would have to go inside of the text and then say like plus times 3 multiplier, something like that, right? But I feel like it doesn't make any sense because now we're back to the same issue that we were at before. So what I'm thinking is that I'm just going to set this to be a icon, identifier, and then the operation, and then have the the faction name and then the value and then also the text that we're actually applying to the UI on this screen. So that way these can be even more drag and drop. I think that's what I'm going to do. It should be pretty simple to do that. I also added these explicit checkboxes to show the UI and hide each individual option. You could see I added also this little thing that says hiding both text and icon is the same as having show UI unchecked. Um, the reason why I'm doing that, I'm not. I don't know. I don't know if somebody else is going to be working on this project. I don't know. And that's my point, I guess, is that I just don't know if somebody else is going to be working on this project. So I'm trying to make it good, or like easy for anybody to really just like come in. It's a little bit confusing. That's probably my biggest gripe with this right now is that it's like the way that this is set up is like a little difficult to read. So we have, if we close everything up, I think is not as difficult. Your response is like, okay, let's add another response. Oh, easy. It just needs text and audio, which I think is good. But then if you start to open up everything, it's like it's starting to get a little confusing. Okay, let's add another consequence. Okay, you know, it's like a bit I don't know. It's just a little bit complicated. I don't know if that's something I'm gonna tackle or if that's just like, well, that's just a part of the system. You just kind of have to uh like get used to it. Yeah, I think that is my plan is to add in that text into this field instead of here because or instead of whatever what I had before. Um, Also for today, basically the biggest thing that I did was that I actually got a basic function, the basic simulation working over here. So um, all I did was I just made a bunch of different equations over here, but they're really simple. They're just like getting the weighted favor of something, and that's being calculated over here. So we get all faction data, and we're just calculating like really simple calculations, like total exports. The weighted favor is just going to be the favor sum divided by the total population. Um, and then we're just passing it through and doing like literally really simple addition, subtraction, multiplications, and they're all I don't know how to describe it. The idea behind it is that everything is trying to go towards the center. For like this example, right? We have, and I guess if we're subtracting by 0, we actually don't need minus 0. Oh, unless, no, this is fine, right? Because that's already a float. I just got used to the idea that we're subtracting by 1. It's like, okay, 0 minus is like, okay. We just have the negative stability. So if our stability is high, it's going to try to drift through our stability drift rate, which is just a const. And the way that I did in the fruit game is that we did the same thing where we have const up here, but then we ended up moving all of these into their own scriptable object, and that's going to be like the world, like the underlying world values. So hopefully I still have some random stuff that I haven't put up here just because I was like, let me just put dot 2 or whatever, dot 1. So we're going to have to move these over to here as well. But yeah, so it's just like really simple equations. Stability divided by 200, because stability is actually, if we go up to the stability, it's set to negative 100 all the way to 100. And we're getting the, where were we just at? Everything looks the same. But anyways, this is all the math for it, but it's simple. But it's all the math. And then in the world system, I was really having a difficult time today trying to figure out how to actually like run all of the math equations. So this is what I got. This is what I have. So first we're going to tick all the factions, and this is going to be stuff that like is set on its own. We don't have to worry about what it does. It's just doing it over here. The next thing is going to be to get all the faction data, just because I was like writing a bunch of for loops over here. I was going like, why do I have so many for loops? It's so crazy how many loops I have just to get these values when we can get all of them at the same time. So I created this method that just runs all the loops at the same time, or everything that we can at the same time. And then other stuff still have to be in the for loop, like the tick all factions. We don't really want to tick all the factions and get all the data, so that's in the separate loop. Then we are processing the final income. After we apply all of the, and this is probably going to be inside of its own method also, these are the negative effects that we have for each faction. So these are going to be the negative effects. We're applying bandit raids, which I like this a lot. This is a percentage chance of a raid chance depending on how much bandit pressure we have. And it's capped at, so the bandit pressure goes from 0 to 100. So it's capped at 0.5. So there's a 50% chance at the highest level if there's going to be a raid. And then if there is a raid, it's going to basically do a 20% loss on this one. I don't really like that it's a flat 20%. I think it should scale with the actual bandit pressure. So I'm going to, in the future, somehow mess with this. But we also have another check, and this makes it like less likely. But we're also setting the population subtracted by, and again, this is going to have to change into a different value. I want it to scale with the bandit pressure. That's one of the reasons why I haven't applied, like, I haven't changed all of these into different, like, const values, is because I want it to be more modular. Anyways, the set population. So people during bandit raids might lose their exports, which makes it more difficult to make trade deals with foreign nations, which I still haven't implemented yet, but that's what's going to be tomorrow. And also will lower the population, which obviously affects the gold output, because the gold is calculated per capita. So it's we have gold capita over here, per capita, gold per capita. And we have the base gold capita over here. And the base gold capita is like the default value that we start at before we make all of the calculations. So whenever we're interacting with the capita, we're actually going to be interacting with this, because this gold capita is actually generated programmatically. So we have and it's just the way it's generated is by the favor. Anyways, that's stuff we already worked on, so I don't want to talk about that too much. We actually applied all of the, after the negative effects, we apply the income, and then after the income, we process the stability, banded pressure, corruption, prosperity, and morale. And then after, we apply the positive effects. At the moment, the only positive effect is going to be the stability recovery, but probably there's going to be something to do with foreign nation intervention. That'll probably be in the negative as well. So if you're in war with another nation, there's probably going to be some negative effects here. And if you're in alliance with another nation, there are probably going to be some other effects over here. But these specifically are just for the factions. So we'll also have to hook into this somehow to have the foreign nations actually interact with our world, not just each individual faction. But we could also have, like, the factions is like the base of the kingdom, so we could also have it so like everything propagates upward, because that's sort of what we have right now, except for this stuff, the apply corruption grievance, which I don't want to talk about that. I did, these are new things that I added, but whatever. This is affected by the world, so there's a lot of interactions going on between the world and the factions, and then once we get the foreign nations involved, then hopefully there's going to be even more interactions between that, which makes the game, I think, in my opinion, hopefully it makes it feel more like a living world, because just because you like created, oh, that's also another thing that I switched to, is I, instead of directly changing the world values by their face, we actually have a deltas, what is it called? A delta struct. And this is the stuff that we're actually going to be like messing with. And then whenever we go into the world stats, here, let's go over here. Whenever we actually go into here, we're passing in the deltas, and then those deltas are the things that are going to be used to process the final outcome. So we have like anti-bandit forces, which is a delta for our bandit pressure. I renamed it in the faction consequence. Here, hold on. Kingdom consequence. So if we take a look at this, into the kingdom effects, I renamed it to anti-corruption and bandit protection. Just to, I might have to rename it again, just to make it more clear what you're actually picking. So if it increases, the way I did it in the math is that, for example, anti-bandit pressure is actually going to be added to the security. So even though in the code, the delta, it looks like it's bandit pressure, it's actually anti-bandit pressure. I don't know if that makes sense. Anyways, a lot of math. That's basically all I did. It's not too exciting to look at, so it's a little bit like the game still looks the same, but there's a lot more going on behind the hood. And hopefully, the reason why, by the way, the reason why yesterday I said I didn't do that much was because I started out the day with just the day system, and these didn't even exist. So I was like, okay, I have to, before I like start even working on the day system, I have to work on the kingdom system. So at the end of the day, I actually didn't have this filled out. So I was like, man, I didn't even get to finish the day system. Even though I guess I technically did finish this kingdom system and the foreign nation system. Anyways, even the kingdom system, I didn't even have an idea of what I had to do. But today I finished it. Foreign nation system is next. We're going to be implementing distance from your kingdom to their kingdom. So whenever you send an envoy, or whenever they send an envoy to you, it's going to take like real-time days in order for that envoy to get to them, and then to get back, and then for their envoys to get to you, and then in order for them to get it back, right? Does that make sense? So we're going to have to create like an envoy system here as well, which is going to be probably an interaction. But it's going to be interesting because the envoys, man, it's going to be, I don't know how it's going to happen, because the foreign nation system, it's going to have to run sort of randomly in parallel to your kingdom system, because We want their foreign nations to feel like there are other systems that are handling their own stuff, and they actually have to have interactions between each other, right? Because then a foreign nation can have be in war with another nation, but also be in alliance with you. So I guess everything is going to have to talk to each other, which is, yeah, I'm gonna have to figure it out. This is probably a little bit more complicated. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I will get it done somehow, hopefully. Okay, that's it. That's it. That's everything I did today, and that's a plan for tomorrow. 4 nations. We'll see. Envoys.